you guys doing out there? We live in a information like smorgasbord. There's a lot of YouTube videos going up, a lot of good information, and with like anything, a lot of bad information, a lot of okay information, and as always, a lot of great information. What works for one person might not necessarily work for another. This is for beginners out there who are learning, and they say they bought a dumbbell set, a barbell set, kettlebell set, and they're learning at home. There's always going to be people that I work with, they pick it up, they get it right away. There's people that it takes a few weeks, a few months, and there's a learning curve, and there's a process and sequence of strength movements to build on each other, so we build a foundation. So, you know, basically a deadlift is a full body strengthener. It's basically teaching someone to pick up weight from the ground, a weighted object, any object. To pick it up correctly, we have to make sure that the client or the person I'm working with, the athlete, they have to get a feel for that movement. They have to make sure they're turning on the right muscles, and they're holding the right positions for the right amount of time to do it safely and properly. A lot of people that I teach can do it correctly, but they're feeling it in the wrong muscle areas. So if your back is weak, but your legs are strong and they're doing a deadlift, a lot of times they could be doing it correctly, but their back is getting stronger, so it's going to be sore. And we want to make sure that just because they're sore doesn't mean they're doing it right, and just because they're not sore doesn't mean they're doing it wrong. So we got to make sure that a lot of the lifting is fill. Positions are fill. So I can look like I'm doing the same thing, but internally our bodies are kind of in our dialogue on how we're cueing ourselves, and also how the coach is cueing that client or that athlete to get him to move his body a certain way to do the movement effectively for that client or athlete. So I would suggest if it doesn't feel right, then obviously go to whether it's a kettlebell expert or someone who works with barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, body weight, or they kind of have a good background for all of those strength and conditioning tools. Just go ahead and go work with a professional to make sure that you have the right feel. So that I like to get everyone that I work with, I like to get them to do self-correction. So they're basically teaching themselves the proper form. I like it when I get a client or an athlete to the point where they know the mistakes that they made in terms of movement. So now I got a dialogue. I'm like, can you self-correct, or do they need a set of eyes? So as we progress, depending on what our goals are, we want to make sure that self-correction, building up a client or building up an athlete so that they can self-correct, and then to a certain point where we can get them some feedback and they can progress from there.